Good evening and welcome to Vox Ariana. Tonight, we bring you a special program specifically designed for parents of transgender and non-binary children. We want to start by thanking you for taking the time to listen. Your presence here matters. It matters to us, and more importantly, it matters to your children. This will be a short program, but it is crucial. We need your attention, your participation, and your willingness to listen and reflect. If you love your children, and we know you do, this is an important step in understanding how to support, protect, and empower them. Stay with us, because coming up next, we will dive into the most pressing issues facing families like yours. Issues that can shape your child's future, well-being, and sense of belonging. This is Vox Ariana. Thank you for being here.
Parents listening tonight, what I'm about to say is essential. You are your children's first refuge. Your voice, your example, and your presence are the first shield that protects your children from rejection, hatred, and ignorance. Having a transgender or non-binary child is not a burden nor a source of shame. It is an opportunity to show the true meaning of unconditional love. Your children do not need you to understand everything from day one. They need you to walk beside them, to listen to them, and to remind them every single day that they are valuable and worthy just as they are. Start by believing them. When your children tell you who they are, do not doubt their words or try to change them. Every time you question or silence them, the message they receive is that their identity is a problem. And your children are not a problem. They are complete, whole, and deserving of respect. Support them in private, but also in public. Telling them, "I love you," at home is not enough. They need to see you defending them in front of family members, at school, at gatherings, and on social media. Silent love does not protect them. Love that is spoken out loud, that shows up without shame, and that stands up to others, that love gives them strength. Correct people who do not respect their names and pronouns. Do not allow anyone, relative or stranger, to disrespect them. Every time you stay silent when someone misgenders them, your child learns that their identity is not important enough to defend. That must never happen. Be present at their school. Meet with teachers and school administrators. Demand that their identity be respected, that their correct name be used, and that they have a safe environment. Your children cannot defend themselves alone against a system that often ignores or erases them. They need you to be their voice where they cannot speak for themselves. And about clothing, let them choose. Clothing is a form of expression, not a box that determines who can wear what. If they want to wear a skirt, let them. If they want bright colors or comfy shirts, let them. Clothing does not define their worth, but their freedom to choose it teaches them that their body belongs to them and that they have the right to be visible. And here is a key point. You must learn to be fluid too. Many parents feel uncomfortable when their child changes their name or wants to dress differently. But your child's growth demands that you grow too. Your child is not the same today as they were a year ago, and that's okay. Your child does not need perfect parents. They need parents willing to grow and learn alongside them. Lead by example. When your children see you introducing them proudly, talking about them without shame, defending their rights without fear, they will learn that their identity is nothing to hide. They will learn that their family is their safe haven and that they never have to hide who they are at home. Seek support. You don't have to know everything. There are organizations, family groups, and professionals who can guide you. Asking for help is not a sign of weakness. It's a sign of love and commitment. Always remember this. Your children deserve to live without fear, without guilt, and without shame. That security starts at home. Your support gives them wings, and your pride teaches them that they are worthy of love just as they are. And above all, never forget that being the parent of a transgender or non-binary child is not a burden. It is an honor. Your children are brave, unique, and capable of changing the world. And you, parents, are their first line of defense and their first source of strength. Stay with us here on Vox Ariana. where the voice of our transgender and non-binary family will never be silenced. When we look at communities that have faced prejudice and discrimination for generations, one important truth stands out. African American children, by and large, have African American parents. Those parents know, from personal experience, what their children are up against. They understand deeply what it means to move through the world with that particular identity because they've lived it themselves. But for many cisgender parents, parents who never questioned their own gender, having a transgender or non-binary child can feel unfamiliar, even confusing at first. These parents love their children, but they have no personal experience to help them fully understand what their child feels, what they fear, or what they hope for. This is where unconditional love is truly tested. Unconditional love means loving your transgender or non-binary child not just in the safety of your home, but in every conversation, every interaction, and every situation, even when you're uncomfortable, even when you're afraid, even when you don't have all the answers. It also means being honest with yourself about your own past. Maybe when you were younger, you held biases against transgender people. Maybe you didn't understand non-binary identities. Maybe you even said or did things that hurt people like your own child before you knew you would one day have a child whose identity didn't fit the expectations you had. Unconditional love means recognizing that and choosing to grow. It means facing your own discomfort, your own biases, and your own gaps in knowledge, and doing the work to become the parent your child needs. Because now you're not just anyone. You are the parent of a transgender or non-binary child. And your love, the way you show up, the way you defend, the way you celebrate who your child is, will help shape how your child sees themselves and their place in the world. This is not easy work, but it is necessary work. And it is work that matters, because no one's voice carries more weight in a child's heart than their parents. In just a moment, we'll move into practical advice, steps you can take, words you can use, and actions that will help you build a foundation of trust, safety, and pride for your child. But first, remember this: your child is still your child. Their identity does not change their worth, their potential, or the love you've always had for them. It only asks that your love expands, that it grows to meet the reality of who they are, not who you imagined they would be, but who they have always been. This is Vox Ariana, and we'll be right back with the advice and guidance you need to walk this path with strength and compassion.
The first and most important piece of advice is this: believe your child. When they tell you who they are, believe them the first time. They are not confused. They are not going through a phase. They are sharing something deeply personal, something that likely took them time and courage to put into words. Your belief is the first layer of safety they will feel. Next, educate yourself. It is not your child's job to teach you everything about being transgender or non-binary. There are books, documentaries, support groups, and organizations filled with resources designed for parents like you. The more you learn, the better you will understand not just your child's identity, but the challenges they will face and how you can help. Use the correct name and pronouns even when it's difficult. Even if you slip, keep trying. The effort matters and your child will notice. Using the right name and pronouns isn't just a courtesy, it's an affirmation that you see and respect who they are. Be their advocate not just at home, but everywhere. At school, in your family, in your community. Speak up when someone misgenders your child. Correct people who use their old name. Silence is often seen as agreement, so let your voice be clear. Your child deserves respect and you will demand it. Listen more than you speak. Your child's journey is their own and they need space to express what they feel, what they fear, and what they need. Even if you don't always have the perfect response, your willingness to listen without judgment creates trust. Surround yourself with support. You are not the only parent going through this. There are other parents who have walked this road, who have faced the same fears and questions, and who can offer guidance, encouragement, and solidarity. Seek out parent support groups, whether online or in person. Model pride, not just acceptance. It's one thing to quietly accept your child's identity. It's another to celebrate it. To talk about your child with pride, to display symbols of support in your home, to show your child that their identity is not just tolerated, but valued and celebrated. Teach your child to advocate for themselves and show them how by example. Empower them to correct others, to set boundaries, and to expect respect. When they see you do the same, they learn that they are worthy of dignity, at home and everywhere else. Prepare for the hard moments. Not every relative will understand. Not every teacher will be supportive. There will be times when you have to decide whether to protect your child's privacy or stand up publicly for who they are. Remember, your child will watch how you handle those moments, and it will shape how they see their own worth. Allow your child to explore. Gender expression, especially in younger children, may shift over time. One day they might feel comfortable in one style, and the next they might want something completely different. That's okay. Their self-understanding is evolving, and your flexibility gives them the space to figure out who they are, without fear of disappointing you. Acknowledge your own feelings privately, not in front of your child. It's okay to feel uncertain, scared, or even sad about the future you imagined for your child. But those feelings are yours to process, not theirs to carry. Find a trusted friend, therapist, or support group where you can work through your emotions, so that you can show up for your child with love and strength. Finally, remember this: your love is the foundation of your child's self-worth. Children who feel loved, seen, and supported at home are far more likely to thrive, to build confidence, and to develop the resilience they need to face the outside world. Your role is not to fix your child because they are not broken. Your role is to stand beside them, to lift them up, to protect them, and to show them every single day that they are worthy of love, respect, and joy exactly as they are. The journey might be challenging, but you are not alone. And your child's happiness, safety, and sense of belonging will be built on the foundation you create today. This is Vox Ariana, and we are honored to walk this path with you.
If you are a parent of a transgender or non-binary child, one of the most important things you must understand is that your love cannot live only inside the walls of your home. Love in silence does not protect your child. Silent love does not challenge discrimination. Silent love does not open doors or change hearts. Your child does not just exist in the safety of your living room. They exist in classrooms, in hallways, in bathrooms, in cafeterias, on sports teams, and at birthday parties. They exist in a world that is often unkind to people like them, a world that sees their truth as something controversial, political, or even dangerous. When your child walks into school, they carry more than a backpack. They carry the weight of wondering who will respect them today, who will ignore their pronouns, who will make them feel small. And every time a teacher, a principal, or a classmate treats them like they are a problem, they look to you, their parent, to see if you will fight for them, if you will stand up and say, "My child matters," and you will respect them. The way you show up in those moments will teach your child whether they should be ashamed of who they are, or whether they can stand tall. When you meet with school authorities, do not ask politely for your child to be respected. Demand it. Do not ask if it's possible to use the correct name and pronouns. Insist on it. Your child's dignity is not up for debate. If a teacher says, "It's too confusing for me," remind them that it's their job to learn, not your child's job to shrink themselves to make others comfortable. If a principal says, "We don't want to cause controversy," remind them that your child's safety is not controversial. If a coach says, "We don't have a policy for this," remind them that your child's right to play and belong is not something they get to invent policies around. It is a basic right. Do not let politeness become silence. Do not let discomfort become complicity. Your child's mental health, self-worth, and even their safety depend on your willingness to be uncomfortable, to be loud, to be firm. Because every time you back down, every time you allow someone to misgender your child, every time you accept "we'll try our best" instead of "we will do this without question," your child learns something. They learn that they are negotiable. They learn that their identity is fragile. They learn that they are not worth fighting for. And if you think your private love will make up for your public silence, understand this: it won't. Children see and feel the difference between a parent who loves them at home but hides them in public, and a parent who loves them loudly, proudly, and without apology. Your silence, even when it comes from fear, teaches them that they are something to be ashamed of. Your silence leaves room for others to mistreat them. Your silence gives permission to schools, family members, and even strangers to erase who they are. But your voice, your unwavering, public, unapologetic voice, tells your child, you are worth every fight. Your voice tells them, I will lose friends, I will argue with family, I will challenge teachers and principals if it means you get to be safe, happy, and respected. Your voice tells your child that they are not a secret. This is not easy. You will lose people. Some friends will stop calling. Some family members will gossip. Some schools will call you difficult. Let them. Your child's right to exist is not something you need anyone's permission to defend. You may feel afraid. You may feel unsure. You may not know the perfect words to say. Say them anyway. Because when you stand up for your child, you're not just protecting them. You are teaching them how to protect themselves. You are teaching them that their dignity does not depend on the approval of others. You are teaching them that they are not alone. You are teaching them that they deserve to be seen in their fullness, in their truth, in all the complexity and beauty of who they are. And one day, when they are older, they will remember every fight you fought. They will remember the time you corrected the teacher. They will remember the time you pulled them out of a school that refused to respect them. They will remember the time you stood up at a family gathering and said, this is my child, and if you can't respect them, you don't deserve to be in their life. They will carry those memories like armor. And they will walk into the world knowing that even if the world tries to break them, they were raised by someone who taught them how to stand, how to fight, and how to believe in their own worth. This is what unconditional love looks like. It is loud. It is public. It is relentless. And it is the greatest gift you can give your child. So I ask you, will you choose silence or will you choose to fight? Will you teach your child to hide or will you teach them to shine? The choice is yours. And your child is watching. This is Vox Ariana, and for every parent listening tonight, know this. Your child's future is shaped not only by who they are, but by how fiercely you love and defend them when the world tries to erase them. The fight is not easy, but they're worth it. And they always have been. Stay with us, because the fight for dignity, safety, and respect continues, right here, right now.
Let's talk about trauma, everyone's favorite parenting topic, right? After all, nothing says solid childhood memories like sitting in a school hallway while someone calls you by a name that hasn't been yours in years, or hearing a teacher trip over your pronouns like they're reading ancient hieroglyphics. Delightful. Imagine showing up every day to a place where people pretend you're someone else, where they talk about you in third person like you're some abstract concept instead of a real human being standing right there, probably wondering if it's socially acceptable to disappear into the floor. And you, the parent, you get to hear all about it at home. Or worse, you don't, because your child's already learned that sharing their pain just makes you uncomfortable. So they bottle it up, lucky you. And let's be clear, this isn't just about bad days at school. This is the kind of slow, relentless erosion of self-worth that leaves scars long after the diplomas and yearbooks are gathering dust. It's trauma with a capital T, the kind therapists recognize from across the room. But hey, maybe some politician on TV says you're overreacting. Maybe they claim kids are too young to know who they are. Sure, because nothing says political authority like someone who probably still thinks transgender is a phase and non-binary is a new video game console. Meanwhile, your kid is living the reality of being reduced to a debate topic. They're told their name is too confusing, like the school couldn't possibly update a seating chart without consulting NASA. They're told their pronouns are a preference, like ordering ranch dressing instead of vinaigrette. This isn't just inconvenient or uncomfortable, it's soul-crushing. Kids don't thrive when they're erased. They don't flourish when every day feels like a battle just to exist. They don't magically develop confidence when the people meant to educate and support them treat their identity like a typo someone forgot to correct. You, dear parent, have the power to stop this. You are the firewall between your child and a world that would rather misunderstand them than make even the smallest effort to respect them. It doesn't matter what some senator says about traditional values or what your cousin's Facebook rant claims about biology. Your kid isn't a theory. They're real. They deserve to be respected not because it's trendy, not because you're progressive, but because they're your child. And if anyone, from a school administrator to a politician to your nosy neighbor, thinks they have the right to disrespect your child's identity, well, it's time to make their life as uncomfortable as they're making your kids. Because your love isn't silent and your kid isn't invisible. And if that makes you the loudest, proudest, most annoying parent at school, good. This is Vox Ariana reminding you, respect is not optional. Stay with us. There's more to say and more to fight for.
Parents, we're at the end of tonight's program, but the conversation we're having, the one about the survival, dignity, and future of your transgender and non-binary children, is nowhere near over. There's no sugarcoating what's at stake. This is not about politics, trends, or debates on morning television. This is about your child's life. Their ability to wake up every day, look in the mirror, and believe they have the right to exist, with dignity, with joy, with safety. If that makes you uncomfortable, good. Because what your child faces is far more than discomfort. Your transgender or non-binary child is living in a world where powerful people, presidents, governors, lawmakers, school boards, even some doctors, have decided that their existence is optional. That their right to be seen, respected, and protected depends on whether it fits into someone's warped version of morality or outdated understanding of biology. Those people do not care about your child. They do not care if your child wakes up in tears because they have to choose between being invisible to survive or being visible and attacked. They do not care if your child spends hours rehearsing how to correct someone misgendering them, only to be told that their identity is a distraction. They do not care if your child has to endure adults debating whether they deserve medical care, school bathrooms, or even the right to play on a sports team. These people want to break your child. And if you, the parent, do not step between your child and those who want to erase them, who will? There is no neutral ground here. You either fight for your child loudly and relentlessly, or you silently allow the world to teach your child that they are disposable. Your silence will not save them. Your politeness will not protect them. Your fear of rocking the boat will not shield them from the politicians, school boards, and talking heads who are more than willing to sacrifice your child's life to score points with voters who fear what they refuse to understand. You may have grown up thinking that gender was simple, a box you checked at birth and never questioned again. Maybe you were raised to think that anything outside of male or female was strange, even wrong. But your child, your beautiful, brave child, is not a mistake to be fixed. They are a truth to be honored. And honoring them means fighting like hell for them. It means walking into that school and making it clear that you are not asking for respect. You are demanding it. It means telling teachers, principals, and superintendents that your child's identity is not up for debate or discussion. It means refusing to let anyone treat your child like a curiosity, a problem, or a controversy. If your child's school misgenders them, dead names them, or treats them as anything less than who they are, you do not shrug it off. You escalate. You meet with the principal. You write emails. You show up to school board meetings. You demand accountability. And when the adults in charge hide behind excuses, it's too complicated, we need more time. We don't want to upset anyone. You remind them that the only person at risk here is your child. Their comfort does not matter. Their ignorance is not your child's burden to carry. If a teacher refuses to use your child's correct name and pronouns, you demand their removal from your child's life. If the school refuses to provide a safe, affirming environment, you go public. You do not make your child smaller so that bigots can be comfortable. You do not teach your child to shrink to survive. Because every time you tell your child, just ignore it, or don't make a big deal out of it, what you're really telling them is, who you are isn't worth fighting for. And when lawmakers pass bills banning gender-affirming care, banning books, banning the very mention of transgender people in schools, you do not sit quietly at home, hoping it won't reach your door. It's already at your door. Every anti-trans law, every school policy that erases your child's identity, every politician who calls your child's existence a threat, they are all sending the same message. They want your child gone. That's not exaggeration. When politicians say, "We want to protect children," they mean children who fit into their narrow, outdated mold. They do not mean your child. Your child is an inconvenience to them. Proof that human beings cannot be boxed into neat categories. Proof that their rigid worldview is a lie. So they try to erase your child. They ban books that tell your child's story. They criminalize the doctors who want to help your child. They punish the teachers who dare to respect your child's pronouns. They create laws designed to push your family out of schools, out of communities, out of public life. They want you to give up. Do not give them what they want. Fight for your child in every room you walk into. Fight for them at the doctor's office, at the school, at the dinner table. Fight for them when politicians call them a danger, when neighbors whisper about them, when relatives say, "I just don't understand." Fight for them when you're tired. Fight for them when you're scared. Fight for them even if you've never fought for anything before. Because your child is watching. And if they see you back down, if they see you choose silence over their dignity, they will learn to do the same. But if they see you stand, if they see you refuse to let anyone erase them, they will learn they're worth fighting for. They will learn that their identity is not a shameful secret. They will learn that they are loved not in spite of who they are, but because of who they are. They will learn that there is nothing wrong with them. There is only something wrong with a world that refuses to make room for them. Be the parent who makes room. Be the parent who teaches your child to walk tall, even when the world tries to break their back. Be the parent who loves loudly, proudly, without apology, without exception, without hesitation. Because your love, loud, public, unwavering love, might be the only thing standing between your child and a world that wants them to disappear. And if that makes you the difficult parent, the activist parent, the parent who always has something to say, good. Wear that title with pride. Because your child's life is not a debate. Their humanity is not up for discussion. And you, their parent, are the one person who cannot afford to fail them. This is Vox Ariana. Your child deserves a world where they are seen, respected, and celebrated. But until that world exists, they need you to build it for them, one fight at a time. Thank you for listening.
This is Vox Ariana, your voice, your story, your space. We are more than just live radio, we also bring you videos in English and Spanish, because your story deserves to be heard in every language. We stand with the transgender and non-binary community, a community that today faces threats, discrimination, and attempts to erase their existence. But here, your voice matters. Your truth matters. Broadcasting from Uruguay, Vox Ariana is a project by Juan Pablo Melesi, created to uplift, inform, and defend the lives of transgender and non-binary people, their families, and their allies. Because when others try to silence you, we turn up the volume. Vox Ariana, your voice, without fear. Find us live, find us in video, find us in English and Spanish, find us wherever voices refuse to be erased.